Assalamu alaikum. Bismillah. Assalatu wassalam ala Rasulillah. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillah. Rabbi shrah li sadri yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. If we were to point to a single factor which helped the Prophet ﷺ to become successful as a statesman, it would be his experience as a businessman. Before he became prophet, for 20 years he was a business person, and he used to do business, and he was known as an honest person. So when his first wife Khadija radiallahu anha was looking for somebody to sell her merchandise in Syria, she contacted him, and when she interviewed him, she found that he was honest. So she entrusted him with her merchandise, and she sent her servant with him to help him and also just to keep an eye on things. So they went to travel to Syria, and Prophet ﷺ sold the merchandise, and he made good profit on it. And when he came back, and the servant gave a very good report about his character. So then Khadija radiallahu anha proposed to him for marriage, and that is how he got married to a very wealthy lady who was intelligent and beautiful. It was through his business enterprise. So enterprise is the pursuit of opportunity beyond the resources controlled. It involves risk taking and innovative thinking. So enterprise is something that a person, when he's working mainly for himself, or even if he's selling somebody else's products, but he is the one who's taking the risk, so he has to be always on his toes, looking for opportunities. How can I sell this? And he deals with very many different types of people and of different backgrounds. And sometimes he has to travel to different places. And this gives him a very good, a lot of experience in dealing with different types of people. This is what helped Prophet ﷺ when he became the Prophet to have a successful stage in Medina Munawwara. And because of his business, he got a reputation of being al-Sadiq al-Amin. And this reputation helped him during also his prophethood. But even before he became prophet, because of the reputation, he was invited to take part by Abdullah bin Judan in a pact called Hilf al-Fudul. This was formed because a Yemeni merchant who came to Mecca, he was ripped off by one of the noble people of Mecca who was very well connected. So this person had no recourse. He couldn't do anything, but some of the Meccans, they decided we are going to help him, and they formed this pact called Hilf al-Fudul, of which Prophet ﷺ was a part, and he was invited because of his reputation as an honest business person. So businessmen are people who take risks, and they do things that are, try to make the best of whatever they have. And this is also when Prophet ﷺ, he became the prophet, he was able to judge people's character, to evaluate their strengths and weaknesses, because he had experience dealing with different types of people. So he didn't just pick people at random. When he wanted to send somebody to teach the people of Medina Munawwara, he chose Musab ibn Umair because of his background. Musab came from a very wealthy family, but he lost everything when he became Muslim. They just kicked him out of the house. So knowing that what a strong character he was, he sent him to Medina to teach the people about Islam, knowing that he is not going to fall for anybody if they give him money or anything. So he picked Musab ibn Umair. And then one time when during the battle of the trench, he needed somebody to go and spy on the enemy, what is going on for intelligence gathering, he picked Huzaifa ibn Yaman. And the reason he picked him was because he knew that this person is very smart, and he reacts to everything very quickly, and he would be able to defend himself if something happened. So Huzaifa was chosen, and Huzaifa went on a very dark night, and he gathered the information that he needed without getting caught or anything, and he came back with the good news that the enemy is packing up to leave. So the thing is that when you are in business, you have to think outside the box. You have to think of everything. You have to weigh your option. And his being a businessman is what helped him when during the Battle of Badr he had only very few resources, 313 men versus 1,000 of the Meccans, all outweighed and ill-equipped army, and only 2 horses against they had seven, very well uh, equipped army, but they were able to defeat it because of the strength of character, and because Prophet ﷺ was used to doing things with uh, with little or few resources, and when they got the victory, he was able to accept that what a wonderful thing that happened. Because in business sometimes very wonderful things happen, and you have to, sometimes people pray for wonderful things to happen, but when it happens they don't accept it. But being in business, he was able to accept it. And then in the Battle of Uhud, they suffered such a big loss, so many people, and it was they were defeated at that battle. But because of his ability to rebound from any losses or anything, a business person knows that when you lose something, it's not the end of the world. You can always pick up the pieces and move on. So that is what he did at the Battle of Uhud. And there are many cases where Prophet ﷺ was able to handle the situation, and mainly because of his experience as a business person. Entrepreneurship helps a person to develop a character in a way that helps him to understand the world, and to recognize what limits there are, how far you can push something. And this also helps the person to gain confidence in their ability, a confidence in the ability to go on a new direction, and to know that no matter what happens, you have the ability to deal with it. These are some of the things that entrepreneurship does to a person. Prophet ﷺ also had Prophet also received ayahs from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala regarding financial transactions. And one of these is the famous ayah 282 of Surah Al-Baqarah, Ayat al-Dain, which details how a business transaction is to be conducted. Because of his business background, he was able to appreciate this and able to explain it to his companions. Being in business also, it helped him to control so many different personalities that he had with him. These companions, they had different abilities, different personalities. But because he was a business person and he was used to dealing with different types of people, he was able to handle it. So it is very good if a person can become an entrepreneur, it will help him to understand so many other things that are so beautiful in Islam, which otherwise they just pass it up. This is the reason I believe that entrepreneurship is very, very good for everybody.